this is why you need to prep before you actually get started with anything when you're trying to stream. Hey there, strangers. It is time for another 2 p.m. PST Twitch stream. I'm your host, Strange Virgin, and we are once again going to be getting back into some coding today. I'm going to be a little quieter than normal, or at least I'm going to try to be. Roommates are sleeping in at the moment, so. Okay, so looks like everything is okay here. Let me go ahead and fix this. Not that I really will have that on either. Okay, so let's get switched over to live here. You all can kind of see what's going on. You know what, I really don't need that follower goal anymore, so bye follower goal. I'm actually kind of curious how difficult would it be to modify that into the actually wait a second, I don't want Firefox, I want Chrome. I've been using Chrome for my coding streams, you know, just to kind of have separate kind of profiles. That's it. that's the only reason, really. Kind of a pain in the ass when you're you know, I have this one as my streaming profile kind of aspect, and I can kind of put all the information that I need in one versus the other. So, actually kind of curious. Stream Labs API. Okay, this is gonna be, that would be a little bit harder than what I was kind of expecting. Huh. I'm not all that familiar with JSON, so now, you know, just so you're aware kind of aspect, I was thinking about at some point in time changing the follower rule into the my average viewer count, seeing that that's what's kind of keeping me from being affiliate. I have to bump up my viewer count to an average of 3, so it's a little harder nowadays. Trying to get some amount of viewership and hold on to it. Have people that are willing to kind of come back and watch. I have a couple that are interested, but a little harder to do, especially seeing that I'm doing this 7 days a week. So, okay, but that's for later. Let's go ahead and get back on track here. This isn't the purpose of the stream to figure out Streamlabs. So, just to bring anyone up to date, if you haven't been following my coding streams all that much, where we're currently at the moment is I was able to get the I'm able to get the board looking relatively, decent at this point in time. I have the hex tiles actually kind of lining up with each other. I have the resources, I should say the temporary resources, placed relatively well for now. And then, we have our, starting cities and, our enemy cities around. Now, if I was to go to the game manager and change, let's see if I remember correctly, if I change this to 1, it's taking a little bit longer. Let's see. Oh, that's a little bit larger than before. No, I think I had it at 0. So, when I do it this way, I have the enemy base. Let's see. Alignment of the human city is fine. Someone might say that, oh, it's a little off center. Well, when you look at the line here and the line here, you'll notice that the central location is at this point here, especially if you travel down this line as well. So the fact that it's one of these 3 tiles, perfectly fine. So, that's in the window and, the margin of error. So if I switch over to 6, then we should see all 3 enemy cities in a very large map. 1, 2, and 3. So, and we're doing pretty well on this. We have all 4 resources. So there's that. Now, Um, the resources are in the same order. Okay, when you're looking at it. Okay, it always starts from bottom right to to top left kind of thing. So as you can kind of see, there's a pattern here. Okay, and that's okay. Okay, I wanted to make sure that um, um, that we have an equal amount of resources throughout the world. Um, Now what we need to do now, okay, so go back to my listing here. So um, this right here, don't really need to worry about right at the moment. Um, if if necessary, I'll go ahead and try to find some kind of a hex border somewhere and place that around each one of these tiles. Um, the camera, I don't know how to fix. My attempts to get, this camera here, which, uh, as you can kind of see, here's the window for the camera. But the problem is that, I want the camera to be right over the human city. I haven't been able to figure out why the coordinates for the camera here is not matching up with the coordinates based off of the tile map. I don't know. Um, the camera itself is basically using its own, or using like the game manager's um, placement. You know, the square grid versus the hexadecimal grid, or hexagonal grid. Why am I saying hexadecimal? I don't know. So still got some work to do on that one, but I haven't really heard anything from anyone from that might know what my problem is on that in my YouTube posting. So in the previous videos that I've posted to my YouTube channel, haven't really heard anyone kind of pipe up as to what might be the problem, and I'm not sure how else to tackle that. So this right here is going to be late game. I'm going to be trying to work on that later, but for right now, we're going to have to kind of hold off on that one. This right here, that's what I'm kind of worried about. Because now we're going to be looking at prims. And yeah, I think I'm ready for prims right at the moment, which is going to be interesting. So So now I have to figure out how to... So I already have a dictionary kind of set for the Prim board here. Now, okay, first off, let's go and place our Prim grid down here. I'll copy this for now, but technically what I want to do is I want to get the Prim grid to basically copy the board grid. So I'm going to copy that. Nope. There we go. Now let's see.
Too lazy with pouring Neos into the water bottle. I really like it. It's way better than the red cups.
Okay, so the reason why I did that is to make sure that after every level it would you know, when you're going in between each of the levels, it would kind of clear out the previous one, so I wouldn't have to kind of worry about it. Let's see. What I want to do now, this is setting up all the X values here, but I don't necessarily need it to do that right now per se. We're setting each one of the hex tiles in the board grid here. So am I going to be able to take in, let's see, what I want to do right now is try to just copy what I have into Prims. But I'm not quite sure how to go about the copy process for a dictionary, so let's go ahead and look into that real quick. Okay. This is actually kind of what I want right there, so if I was to say that prim grid is equal to void grid, would that actually kind of work? I'm not sure. Let's make sure that there's no other points for me to kind of tackle this right now. Okay. Okay, so I think that's about as much of the initial that I really need. So we're done with board setup. Now we want to let's go ahead and make the maze. So this is gonna be this is probably gonna be pretty problematic. A lot of comments all over the place, and it's somewhat confusing a little bit. Okay, so this doesn't really tell you where this might not really tell you where the error walls and the like are. So this is going to be kind of dangerous here a little bit because so okay, let me switch it over to one of the smaller levels here so that you can kind of see. Oh, there's compilers. Yeah, you happy about that? All right. So so here's where the problem lies. If I don't mark where these individual cities are, then I'm not sure. I'm not sure where the it's it. Okay. Anyone that so you look at Prim's, right? Prim's algorithm. Okay. Let me bring it up for anyone that isn't already aware. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so using the maze generation algorithms, okay, because the whole purpose of this is to make sure that I get a map that has, enough resources on the map to complete the level, but at the same time allow for the monsters to walk to the human city and vice versa. Okay. Now, when looking at this kind of map, there isn't really going to be that much of a maze. Okay, it's going to be fairly simplistic. Probably going to have like a single path that goes right to the enemy city right from the very start. You never know. Okay, but Prim's this right here is meant to generate a map that will still have edges to them and generates a different map each and every single time. That's the plan. Okay. So we're gonna basically take what's here and we're going to try to use this for what I have. So, don't know why I clicked accidentally on the Fairfax down there. Okay, so basically here's the process that they're kind of referring to. You know, start with a grid full of walls. Now, in this case, the grid is going to be full of resources. Okay, I'm going to make sure that the walls per se aren't necessary, kind of thing, as it is anyway. The resources are really the only ones that are going to be cleared. So pick a cell, mark it as part of the maze, add the walls of the cell to the wall list. So so as you can kind of see, we're going to be this is done for us. Okay. The this right here, hopefully, basically took care of step one. Hopefully. Move that down there. Now, what I need to know now is how to, get the individual walls out of each one of these. And to find out whether or not there's actually something on that particular grid to see what happens. So okay, so we need gonna be needing a new list here. Okay, so now we need we're gonna call it wall grid for now. Okay, so now we need to get the hex tiles from each actually, wait, no. No, I don't need this. Matter of fact, I shouldn't be making a copy of the board grid. We're going to have Prim grid be the one that is actually taking in each one of these. So, but I need to what I need to do pick a cell, mark it as part of the maze, add the walls of the cell to the wall list. Okay. This right here is basically the wall list. So what I need to do is I need to get the individual tiles and then add the surrounding resources around it into Prim grid. So but at the same time, I don't know. This gives you a the tile in question, but actually copying, am I actually setting the contents of the hex tile? I'm setting them inside the base and resource tile holder, but and it's coming out okay here. But I don't think, based off of what I have currently, I'm setting these values any differently. Am I going to have to maybe add these values into Prim Grid? Right then and there, maybe? Okay. Oh, sorry, I got a bit of background noise here, folks. I'm going to mute myself real quick. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, everything's working fine there. Okay, so what I want to do is probably initially I'll go ahead and add Prim. Gonna do this. Okay, there we go. I was about to say, what the heck did I just press? Right. Now you might be saying, well, Jim, why are you adding, these values into Prim Grid early? Well, I'm doing it just so I can kind of reference them a little bit later. What I want to try to do is I'll go through the list initially. I'll get the tiles from them, and then we'll go through, their edges and see and then we'll add the each of these keys, if it actually has a resource there, into back into Prim's, or at least that's the thought line that I have right at the moment. So this is going to be a little bit of work because of the fact that I'm dealing with 6 different tile keys, potentially, okay. So, while Prim Grid see, there should be a dictionary function for checking to see whether or not it's empty. So let's verify that. Dictionary empty. Mm-hmm. Okay, so okay, so there are walls in the list. Pick a random wall in the list. If only one of the two cells that the wall divides is visited, then make the wall passage and write the unvisited cell as part of the maze.
Sean, in repayment of your earlier kindness, I have a stone for you to draw.
Okay, so I need to pick a random one.
It's basically, you got some of those candy sheets where it says you have to date on a cream cheese, and then you're doing crackers, 3 coats of jelly, 3 coats of cheese, and a slice. I have a variety of colors to choose.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see if okay. If I do let's see. Let's go ahead and bring hex tile down here. Temp. Then we do temp is equal to prim grid. Then we'll do, wonder if I can do random, that next, right there. And still be good with that. I'm not sure. Make the wall passage. Okay, this is where things get a little more complicated because now, now I have to kind of remove basically a tile from the resource tile holder. set tile. That's what I want to try to do, is do the exact opposite of that. So let's go ahead and look up tile map, remove tile. Okay, so just to get that out there, I'm probably going to be running into some problems with here. Okay, just so you're aware. I'm not seeing anything there. This tile map doesn't have a clear tile or remove tile method. It's clear all tiles. Okay, well that doesn't really help me. Is that seriously a thing? Unity doesn't actually have clear tile?
You got so much ooze from the parking? Oh, yeah.
Okay, let me come to here real quick. And we'll see whether or not that actually has a if we can kind of remove the tile. It has set tile. Can I actually do damage? I think this might be a little too much. Refresh tile, remove tile flags. I don't need to remove tile flags. I just need to remove the tile. You're kidding me, right? Please tell me this is a joke, because this is a little ridiculous right at the moment. Why is there not a remove tile? Remove all tiles? Sure. Okay. That's fine. But what if I want to just clear one tile? You should always have the minimum and maximum, because that's what people are probably going to be looking for, is the minimum and maximum. Oh boy. Am I going to need to try to invoke destroy just to remove said tile? Okay. Sounds like my roommates are having a party downstairs. Or are gonna be having a party downstairs. We'll see. Hopefully this doesn't really affect the stream all that much, but we'll find out. Just to warn you guys, I may need to stop it off early. Just in case. Okay, so if I do destroy, is that going to destroy the individual tile? Or is that going to destroy the full resource tile holder? I don't really know. just to just to kind of make sure, um, I have a check up here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and grab this here real quick and use it again down here. Changing up the statement here so it doesn't, um, on the information post down here, it will, you know, it will log this as a different log. So, um, in fact, if this was to happen, then I would need to kind of break out of this make maze, at the very beginning here. Um, this is a sloppy way of doing it, kind of thing. Technically, I would be throwing an error because if this destroyed the entire resource tile holder, then my game is pretty much done. I've pretty much messed up the entire game on this one. Okay, so this that's gonna cause a runtime error if I let it go. Um, so this is really bad. um, Now let's see. The Pick a random wall from the list if only one of the two cells that the wall divides is visited. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. I thought there was a... Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought there was a way to kind of see the Prim's algorithm via code. I thought someone kind of put that in here. Oh, here's a Python version of it.
You're saying he's challenging my intelligence.
Hmm. Okay.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Now let's go ahead and see if I can get. Let's see. Do I actually have? Hmm.
That's not even close to it. You know what's interesting?
Is this actually done anywhere in my code right at the moment? Yes. But this is a vector 3 int position. Now, oh right, that, hmm.
I mean, only one of you have actually done the work. What?
Right, I can't. Trying to convert a vector 3 into a vector 3 int. That's something that I was kind of facing before, if I remember correctly. So
Mark, you're not actually like using the boolean there.
hmm.
In this? Yeah, I think it is. Yes.
Okay, so I was trying to change the vector 3 int here into vector 3 here. but obviously that wasn't working. Well, I mean, it kind of was working. But I need to change the vector 3 into the vector 3 end, so just so I can kind of put it there. Okay, so what we're going to do is temp int is going to be equal to new the 3 and temp x temp dot y 0f. Actually, I don't need 0f. And then we'll take that and we'll put you right in there. And hopefully that will just destroy that one particular tile. Crossing fingers. Let's see. I'm going to do a quick search here because Prim's algorithm C#. See if I can find a an already made code set for it. Don't necessarily want to reinvent the wheel here, but if I can't find anything real quick, then I will. It's looking though like I'm gonna have a little bit of problems with it. Okay. Here's Prims. This might be... Don't know if I can really use this. Okay. Well, I mean, I could, but at the same time, it doesn't really work all that well. Not for what I need, not for what I have, so... So let's go back here real quick. I'll just continue using the information here. Now, one of the concerns that I have right at the moment is when you're looking at this, um, you have the potential of having okay, so I'm I'm a little concerned right at the moment and that okay, as you're let me bring up this little rendering here. As Prim's algorithm is moving along, um, each one of these wall pieces has the potential of being um, added into the um, the list here. What makes it where like take for example right here, for example, here I'm gonna pause it real quick. Um, we have spaces like this right here, this particular block that has each direction um, a pathway. How does this particular node, um, how is this particular node different from this one? Like, what's to make the Prim algorithm from making this entire map entirely white? Um, that's what I'm kind of curious about. Um, because I'm not really seeing that in this step 3 kind of process here. So when you start this off, okay, it starts down here. So this is their first spot. Okay, this is the pick a cell, mark it as part of the maze, add the walls to the cell into the wall list. So it basically starts off like, actually, wait a second. Interesting. Okay, so it actually is kind of behind the, it's behind the play button. Okay. Okay, so it starts off at the very far left there, okay, and it basically continues moving forward. It adds the cells around it each time it's moving forward. So how is it going to be able to handle, um, keeping the spacing? I'm going to wait for it to kind of come to the end here real quick. Actually, let's see. Can I just... No, no, that didn't really work. Okay. Um, so, like, for example here. Um, it started off in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay. And it kept on adding the cells, next to it into the list. How does it know to basically ignore these here and not make each one into a 4x4? Have have different routes there. That's what I'm kind of wondering about right at the moment. While there are walls in the list, okay, so pick a cell right as part of the maze. Add the walls of the cell to the wall list. Okay, so there's 4 walls around it, so all 4 go into the list. So there are walls on the list. Pick a random wall from the list. So now you have 3 walls pretty much. If only one of the 2 cells that the wall divides is visited, that the wall divides is visited. That statement is what's probably confusing me here a little bit. Um, okay, make the wall passage. Mark the unvisited cell as part of the maze. Right, make the wall that is now a cell as part. So you don't have to, you're basically removing it from the maze. Um, Add the neighboring walls of the cell to the wall list. If only one of the 2 cells. This is my confusion right at the moment, trying to actually interpret this particular line right now. But I'm not sure what it's trying to get to here. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, so where there are walls on the list, there's still plenty of walls on the list. Or actually, the ones that have been kind of added. This red spot was a wall that was added because of that one particular spot there. So it picks a random wall, which is that little red spot right there. If only one of the 2 cells that the wall divides is visited, it adds the 3 walls on its sides into the list, but only one of the 2 cells that the wall divides is visited. Oh boy. I'm not sure, folks. I'm not sure what this is kind of referring to. Um, okay, hold on a second.
Oh, you just want to fix it? No, I just want to smell it.
You should
I
wash
don't
it.
know
No,
the
wash it,
fit.
wash it. Use a
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
wet napkin, wet towel, wet.
I want to kind of rewind it a little bit here. Gosh darn it, it's not. I want to be able to kind of step through this one at a time here, because it felt like this particular cell went into 4 different directions.
Do we have any French people in here?
I knew you would get that.
Well, how are you able to form this cell?
Oh, that was close.
How did you do it?
You don't know. It takes a while to develop. It takes a while to develop. I'm probably bad doing it. Get the
Actually,
texture.
you reached out instead of reaching. Okay.
You're gonna get some. But you can just use that.
You can't masturbate. Full Prim season.
Hmm.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, see, that was smooth.
Nice. Yay.
I mean, the thumbs there.
You want some? So I just want to smell it. That would be a great
Aperitivo?
coffee.
Are you talking about wine or
Drinks.
don't spend your money on me?
May I use this mixer? Your shaker,
Okay,
rather?
I'll give you one. You were just giving me one the other day.
This one, right? Can I get this one?
No, it's that fixed out like.
Oh, this one? That's the
Yeah.
one? Yeah, that's fine. I thought it was maybe having a fun. Yeah, that's perfect.
So you want rearrangement?
Initialize a tree with a single vertex,
Yeah, we can do
chosen
that.
arbitrarily from the graph. Grow the tree by one edge. Of the edges that connect the tree to vertices not yet in the tree. Find on the minimum weight edge, transfer it to the tree.
Sorry. Because I don't know much idea.
I'm not dealing with any kind of weighted edges or anything along those lines, so um,
Wait, how many people are you recommending?
We only get 100.
Yeah, 'cause I told Selena to do the same thing I told you guys. I did the vegan thing, and she was asking about who's bad. I'm like, oh man, it's kind of shitty if I just like, no, I'm gonna do it. Because she was all ready to go. I said, oh, you guys are ready too. So I didn't want to like mess up last second and be like, nope. So just kind of feedback. I was like, fine.
set HEV to a special flag value indicating that there is no edge connecting V to earlier indices.
Okay, EV is 30.
Hmm.
You can hear like a dairy in the back. Oh, that sounds really bad. Give big chunks, big chunks.
Add V to F, and if EV is not a special flag value, also add EV to F. each such edge. If W still belongs to Q, and VW has smaller weight than Hmm.
Which side was the key then?
The key, the U, I think it was supposed to be seven, maybe seven.
Just?
That's what it said on the logic manual. It said seven, but for some reason the device did not say that.
Huh.
It said like old episode, like old Xbox.
Gamers are ready to go for tonight.
Okay, I need a step-by-step of Prims. That.
Jason, you got that?
Oh, let me get the key.
We don't need to go in there right now.
Well, just gonna get everything done.
It would be helpful if I actually set my own headsets.
No problem. Sean, you want a shot of Jason?
This shit
Lemon
is.
green juice?
Nope. I've been drink that too long, but yeah, this shit is champagne.
You can have it right now.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, never mind you.
You guys ever had something called Prim? The thing, Prim?
No, I'm trying to be fat. Wait, do you put milk in your recipes? Aren't you supposed to not drink milk? I mean, drink milk, milk shit.
I've had a bunch of milk shit.
I know. No promises on how future. Alright. Shot for two bears.
Okay, sweet.
Is the couch in there? You gonna take it out of there?
Alright.
I'm gonna put the shit on there. Oh, you're not? Remember that.
Yes.
Look at all the edge details on the lines as well.
Another tree. Tree is one node. We check for all edges going out from it. We select the one which has the lowest cost and include it in the tree.
I almost put support in additional names instead of like I know Unity support is dumb, but it's worth it. Alright. Edit startup over $2.
You
Yeah.
gotta make an initial trace on it.
Why would I take a
Cause I
picture?
think you gotta take a.
Why?
I thought you said you did.
On the email? What do you do? When I get the tools, I'm gonna teach you to.
Alright.
Okay, so
Jason, Jason, like bear before you get stuck.
let me try to break this down a little bit here. So um, let me try to look at these kind of in their own respective ways here. Now, each one of these basically is a a square in here, for example. Um, the you start off with S, which is right down here in the corner, for example, and you have, and C next to it, right? Well, A and C in this case. So you choose A and you leave C alone based off of the direction here. Now A adds in, the other three directions. What's to keep S from going to C in this case?
Yeah, we tried it once. It was gross. God, it was really good. How wrong we were. How wrong we were. We made a mistake.
A terrible, terrible mistake. That horse shit scraped me up.
What's that?
The horse shit scraped me
Hmm.
up.
Is it a good one?
Oh yeah.
Did you use the lime bottle?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And the logo lingers.
So do you have this perfectly this lime, this solid lime vodka? Not the one you're drinking. It's called Cuban. It's lemon lime.
No, orange juice.
Oh, it's called orange juice. Okay. Yeah, but that's amazing.
That was honestly, if you like all like unmixed alcohol, it turns into something really good.
Yeah, cucumber soup.
Create a set MZ that keeps track of vertices already included in the minimum spanning tree. Assign a key value to all vertices. Assign a key value to all vertices in the input graph. Initialize all key values as infinite. Assign key value as 0 for the first vertex so that is picked first.
Damn, this iPad is shot to shit. Oh, no, it's not. I thought these were all cracked.
MSet doesn't include all vertices.
Yeah.
Pick a vertex U, which is not there in MSet, and has a minimum key value. Could U into MSet. Update key value of all adjacent vertices of U. Update the key values, iterate through all adjacent vertices for every adjacent vertex. If weight of edge UV is less than the previous key value of E, update the key value as weight of. Okay. And the keys assigned to vertex. Everything comes and update MSet, so MSet becomes 0. After including to MSet, update key values of adjacent vertices. Adjacent vertices 0 are 1 and 7. Key values of 1 and 7 are updated as 4 and 8. All because of the edges. Okay. update the key values of adjacent vertices of 1. Key value of vertex 2 becomes 8.
Maybe it's the wrong thing.
Don't we have red bolts? Oh, this is that's the red bolt. Okay. That would work.
Oh, the red bolt.
Those things are super sensitive.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
That's why. Damn it.
So, here's the problem that I'm kind of having with this, is the fact that they're using a lot of weights on this, and I don't necessarily need weights per se on this.
Yeah.
You know, this right here has no weights.
Water won't be here for that.
That takes a while. Really long.
Yeah. There are a lot of like weird fish.
Yeah, there's some super weird ones.
Dude, it's a giant swamp with fucking alligators. There's climbing fences now, by the way. They need to die. Or there's snakes that live in the little enclosed water. Not to mention hurricanes hitting my head over the. Georgia's where it's at. Georgia's like the hurricane middle. Close enough to the beach, but not the beach. Well, where I grew up, it was like literally right next to the beach. So even if you had to get down, you could crash. Caleb's? Alligators.
So we're like on Gaysmore Beach in the same area.
That's why I moved to the desert.
What is it? The sand? Is it like the sand between the cliffs?
It's more like between my ass crack.
Well, if you were a donkey, what would you call it?
You're right, there's shit everywhere else. Dude, it's literally the worst. Like, okay, so I don't usually wear sunscreen because I tan really well. You know, it's the beach, whatever, wear sunscreen. Go, hanging out, eating a couple beers. I'm always really buzzed open. I go into the water, you know, fucking fine, get in the water. Get in the water, your face hits you in the face. Now you have sunscreen sweat dripping into your eyeballs. Then you accidentally fall. You hit sand and ice in your mouth. Your legs fucking suck. You finally get up. Now your eyes are full of sand, salt, sweat, and sunscreen. You have bloodshot. You look high as shit. You hate your fucking life. Oh look, now you're sunburned. The whole thing fucking sucks.
How was that
Never
experience?
happened.
Hmm.
That was not a fun experience.
Okay, when we were in Florida, like, what was it? We had this drink, right? It was called the bucket.
The bucket.
It was literally in
If
a
it doesn't
sand
come in a
bucket.
bucket, I'm losing
No,
money.
it was in a sand bucket. It was like, I think like 5 different rums.
5 different rums.
Okay, same kind of process here,
There's actually 6 rums because I added
or
in
same kind of
Okay.
design
It sounds
as
funny
before.
like brown rum,
This guy
but
really doesn't have any
I
kind of
think
sound going on this,
I
but that's okay.
this color black is really
He's
refreshing.
just kind of showing an example of what Prim's is kind of doing on this.
Oh yeah, because y'all were just in Florida.
I rediscovered a job Prim's made about a year ago that generates mazes for contest problems.
That bottle?
Purpose of mine randomizes Prim's area and represents the maze as a
Why did
graphic
you do a
next to the
thing?
vertices using a minimum swing tree.
He did a thing.
Using
Yeah, I tapped the ceiling hole. Now I'm gonna summon the wind.
filling any
Turn
grid
the
with
AC
wall
on.
tiles and opening one starting cell at random.
It is not on
The
very
starting
good.
cell
It is
basically
on
becomes
slow.
a root node from which paths begin to branch. For each surrounding wall of the opening
But
cell,
it's
which
not on very
comprises
good.
a compromised frontier, the algorithm makes the decision to, if the tiles on the other side of the wall has not been explored,
It's a
Well,
crazy
is
game.
finally
not
got
part
you
of
a
the
thing.
maze.
Good fit. Nice one.
knock down the wall, and essentially open that tile as well as the other tile where the wall was, connecting the two nodes. The walls of this new node then become part of the frontier. To avoid the random selection from the frontier at each iteration provides branching and removal from the frontier only when the cell cannot be operated on because the opposite cell has already been explored. Ensure sufficient cell cannot be operated on. Already been explored. Ensure sufficient. The video shows virtually what the process of the herd is. So the beginning and end points will be far enough apart that the end result will be visually interesting. This is because the second part of the video, the maze completes generation, shows a visualization of the texture's shortest path algorithm, solving the maze. The center as you discover Prim's algorithm. Favorite short path algorithm, we use that implementation of it often in computer science contests.
We're all gonna go to that PhD festival. Oh yeah. Got some friends over there. They got creative shit facing up against me.
Okay,
Yeah. I went to the VR Pizza Fest last year.
okay, so so here's where the problem lies right at the moment. Now that I'm looking at this a little bit more, I think I think I understand what this is kind of trying to refer to. It's not really worded very well, in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. The I think the explanation that this gentleman did here, okay, for each surrounding wall of the open cell, which comprises a frontier, the algorithm makes a decision to, if the tile on the other side of the wall has not been explored and is not part of the maze, knock down the wall. In other words, if it checks the cell and checks to see whether or not there's any connecting cell to it. So, like for example, if I grab this one here, it checks this particular cell, okay, and it checks to see, hey, do you actually have any open spots? Are you actually part of the maze? And if it says yes, these are empty, or they're not walls, then then that wall needs to be pretty much removed and nothing done to it. Okay, so this presents a problem for me because if I'm starting this from two different points, then if, say, the maze kind of comes up to here and I want it to actually connect these 2 points, it's not going to, because this particular point has the maze on the other side. So basically, the way I'm looking at it right now, okay, if I make both of these as starting nodes, I could essentially have two completely separate mazes. Okay, but another way of kind of looking at it, let me expand this out to the largest size here. Let me, you know, so let me regenerate here. We're going to look at the full, full map kind of thing. Obviously, oh, right, got some compilers. Of course there is. I'll have to kind of deal with that later. Let's see, which one is it having a problem? 704. You know what, let's just go ahead and comment this out for now. Okay, so let's look at the bitmap here. Okay, using Prim's algorithm. Okay, the fact that it will look at this particular tile here, for example, and it will say, are these particular tiles next to it, part of the, does it have an open path? Okay, meaning, is there no resource there? Okay, and if it has no resource there, okay, then it means that that has already been kind of generated as a path. Like, let me zoom in a little bit closer. So it checks, it randomly selects this one, right? But it already opened up this one as a path, for example. Okay, so it checks this one to see if there are any resources. Yes, yes, no. So then it goes, okay, well, based off of this algorithm here, or the explanation given here, okay, if the tile on the other side of the wall has not been explored, is not part of the maze, knock down the wall. If the wall of the node then becomes further frontier. Intuitively, the random selection of the frontier. The iteration provides branching. Remove frontier only when the cell cannot be operated on because the opposite cell has already been explored, ensures sufficient backtracking to explore the entire maze. The embedded video shows virtually what the process of the algorithm is. So, the let me try to kind of explain this a little bit more here, so you guys can kind of understand what I'm seeing and how it's kind of being said here. So when you're, you know, based off of my example here, okay, this one would not be part of the maze, okay, because this one was already kind of opened, okay. Now, now the process here, if
Got a little bit of rock salt.
um,
Turn me your mind. I swear to God, it does it every time.
front of the two cells that the wall divides is visited. Um, yeah, I don't understand what the whole, the cell divided kind of aspect is all about here, but it your seems like there's a potential for a lot of repeat visits here, and um, that can be kind of dangerous here. Okay, but so let's take it from another example here. Okay, let's say that the human city is um, is like right here, for example. Okay, so this opens up a new passage kind of thing, and it opens up this passage here. Okay, these two cells have already been kind of added into the list because of this open passage here, right? These three cells been added to the list of cells to kind of explore, right? But when you go to here, it's going to look at the surrounding cells around it, and it's going to notice the fact that this is already open. And because it's already been opened, it's going to say, no, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to allow for this to be explored. Same with this one. It's going to go, hey, this one's already been opened. I'm going to not let you explore it. And this one can't be explored because of this one already been opened. I need a different solution. As much as I kind of liked the idea of Prim's giving me a fairly decent looking maze kind of aspect, the fact that it can only stem from one particular cell is a problem. I need something else here. Um, I might need to consider Kushkal in this then, because it's allowing from different locations. Generated the maze based off of different points on the map. And if that's the case, then I might be able to get away with um, um, I might be able to kind of handle this a little bit more. Um, create a list of all walls, create a set for each cell, each containing just that one cell. For each wall in some random order, if the cell divided by this wall belong to the distinct set, remove the current wall, join the sets from the formally divided cells.
Oh my god, I was gonna fuck up. I was mixing Paul with what do you think? The Italian sauce.
Okay, so Prim's isn't gonna work.
Where else did we ever be?
Smells delicious.
Get the other shot glass up.
Okay, so if Prim's isn't gonna work, then maybe Kushko's algorithm?
Really, you jerk. What a jerk. You think today? Okay. So we're gonna make a shot. Like something cool. Huh? No, I'm good. Yeah. We're going to the store? Really? Oh, you don't have any ice? Really? Oh, you can get tomato sauce. But tomato sauce. Oh wait, which one are we making though? Are we making the yellow or we're making the red one? Come on, wait. No, because I don't want to make all that. I mean, we're gonna make the other day, so it's fine. Okay.
Okay, this might work a little bit better,
Maybe there's something else.
probably,
Okay. You know, maybe I'll. Oh.
because at least on this point I can actually
Making
um,
y'all warm shots. Ooh, I like your shoes.
I can at least maybe add, these, each one
Yeah,
of
a little
the
bit.
trees in the pseudocode here into their own unique sets,
Are there two tongues to your shoes?
and then have the connections stemming from those. Um,
He's so cute.
Because I guess Converse are like more
hmm.
unisex, so that makes them not so not so uni.
But how do you know when
You could feel the
one
It's the
is
unease.
shot.
done?
It's the shot. You're getting emotional.
It's the shot.
Not sure. Okay, so AD and CE are the shortest edges with length 5. AD has been arbitrarily chosen, so it is highlighted. CE is now the shortest edge that does not form a cycle with length 5, so it is highlighted as the second edge. The next edge, DF, with length sets is highlighted using much the same method. The next shortest edges are AB and BE, both with length 7. AB is chosen arbitrarily and is highlighted. Edge BD has been highlighted in red because there already exists a path ingrained between B and D, so it would form a cycle if it were chosen. Press continues to highlight the next smallest edge, BE, with length 7. Many more edges are highlighted in red at this stage. BC because it was loop, BCE, DE form the loop. DEBA, FE because it would form FEBAD. Random sparing trees found. Okay, in a sense, okay, basically what I'm looking at here, okay, is I need to, you know, AD is one city, CE is another city, and then I have to just kind of connect the two together, using their, you know, respective nodes, you know, that are uh, that are next to each other. So yeah, I think Kushko is probably the next best thing for me right at the moment. Spinner tree from a graph. Our code here is actually a randomized version of Cusco. Original works something like this. Throw all the edges in the graph into the big brother sack, or you know, a set or something. Pull out the edge with the lowest weight. If the edge connects to just join the trees, join the trees. Otherwise, throw that edge away. Repeat until there are no edges left. Randomized algorithm just changes the second step so that instead of pulling out the edge with the lowest weight, you remove an edge from the bag at random. Making that change, the algorithm now produces a fairly convincing maze. Let's walk through an example manually to see how the process works in practice. For the example, I'll use the simple 3x3 grid. I've assigned each cell letter indicating which set it belongs to. Random will straightforward. Simply select an edge at random and join the cells it connects if they are not already connected by a path. So we can know if the cells are already connected, they're the same set. So let's choose an edge between 2, 2 and 2, 3. The cells are at a different set, so we join the two into a single set, connecting the cells. Let's do a few more passes of the algorithm to get to the interesting part. AACCE. Here's where things start to move fast. Note what happens when the edge between 2, 1 and 2, 2 is pulled from the back. The two trees A and E were joined into one set. A implying that any cell in A is reachable from another cell in A. Let's try joining 1, 2 and 1, 3 now. be drawn from there yet. Define the more in both cases the cells. Either side of the edge belong to the same set. Connected cells in either case would result in a cycle. So we discard the edge and try again.
Prim, I'm pretty sure cells explode pretty quick if they stay up here, unless you're on
No, it's not that dumb. It's the it says line is true, and then that's the right direction, and you can't dissipate the screw.
maybe you should.
Hmm.
That's what maybe a little bit.
It's not 100% true.
No, it's 100% true. It's 98% true.
No, it's not.
Okay, 95.
90.
Yeah,
So it's not true. What do we do?
Okay.
You're irrelevant. Irrelevant.
The smell of food is actually making me really hungry, and I haven't had lunch yet.
Where's Prim? No, 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 no. No. Shut the fuck up and sit back in your chair. Where's my fork? You guys see this? Like, you have like the tomato sauce on top of the house. That's why it's tomatoes instead of sauce.
Okay.
Yeah, you know how I feel lately? It's like you have a lot of sauce on your plate.
How am I gonna get this into play here? Um,
I want it. Oh, I'll beat it up. So the difference is the ingredients. If you want to put tomatoes, you put them right in. But if you don't want to put water, you want to put them before you cook them.
so this is all well and good of when you have edges kind of aspect. But here's the problem that I'm facing right at the moment. Each one of these is potentially an edge.
He put the instant on the thing that's hot. What makes it that hot? We didn't tell him to do that. So please do. If you not make the shit out of it. Make shit out of it. I'm not gonna do it. No, it's not. Keep making the shit out of it, okay? That's why we keep saying
So
stop like when we even do food, you have fucking crap on top, okay?
how do I get this to work in my favor in this? Because
No, it doesn't work anymore. Yes, it's working.
so
Your food is always different than the other food.
let's look at
It's like that.
this here. Okay. Um, we want this node here as part of its part of a set, right? Um, it then looks at say that it looks at this one here. It adds this one into the set. How is it going to know that this one can't be part of the set?
No, but before the return method, this is where your groups knew that these are missing.
Okay. Prims doesn't work with multiple starting points. Would create individual mazes for each point. No connection between them. Now, I might want to kind of consider doing that anyway, just to have maybe some amount of barrier between the human city and and one of the enemy cities. But I would have a hard time there might be some amount of difficulty between um, um, the size of the map kind of thing. What happens when if you have all three enemies and somehow they circle around the human city at the very beginning kind of aspect, completely blocking it off from the rest of the map. You're not going to give the human city any kind of growth that way, or at least very limited. They would literally have to, um, you know, mine their way out of their enclosed area, and thereby, allowing for the enemies to kind of just flow into the city. That's not exactly ideal. Um, so, um, maybe Kushkal's algorithm would be a good substitution. Okay. But again, I need to figure out how to actually get um, Kushkal's algorithm to work with a hex grid, and keeping hexes as a possible wall. you know, this is all well and good, but like I said, how do I know? So, let's say, I just opened up these two right here, and these two basically connected with each other, right? Well, how is it going to know that this one right here, that it could have also been a part of a set? Um, how do I remove that as a, um, how do I remove that one from the possible set? Include it in the set itself and be kind of done with it.
It's fucking hot in here, dude.
Well, a lot of cooking from downstairs. It's feeling kind of cool up here a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nice up there.
Maybe I need something that basically says, hey, um, these two have been seen, and when you select one of them as a particular node, the scene becomes visited. It adds the rest of my nodes into the list, and if anyone also has been seen, it removes that one from the list as well, and marks it as like visited. Maybe I need to do something like that.
We have ice.
Not sure.
Why is it
This is
so
gonna
cold?
be this is gonna be interesting.
What? It's quiet too.
Hmm.
Okay, we gotta so how do we like tell if it's gonna be
So therefore, these two would be seen. This one would be removed. So then it would randomly pick one of these to add into the set. But how? If we're doing this part here, um, so how do I keep this from being? Um, how do I keep this one from being, uh, you know, um, so okay, with Crucial, it's gonna basically make sets from all of these kind of aspects. So, like for example, we're going to do, say, let's say these two suddenly become a set, and these two become a set, right? So all of these become seen, and all of these become seen. Um, how do I allow for this one to be connected, for example? And how do I keep this one from being connected? Because say, for example, we have, these being, these being seen, okay, as a set, for example. Then, we create this set, for example, here, okay. If this one is, visited per se, because this one, you start off with this one here, would not this one also become visited, and therefore you can't go there? How am I going to get the code to work with this here? I don't know. This is definitely this is definitely one that is kind of racking my brain on trying to figure this part out. Let's see. Algorithm. Hexagonal. Maze. Boy, I'm definitely getting a lot of messages here. What's going on here? Okay. Hey, everyone here. Huin Hero? Is that how you pronounce it? Thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. Welcome to my stream. As you can kind of see, I've been trying to make a 2D tile map here right at the moment, and that works. I'm not picky with the pronunciation. No worries here. No worries. So how do I make this into a maze? No, I don't need prims. I've already kind of nullified prims. It's not going to work for me. Must include hexagonal. Never got hexagons to work for myself. Didn't use Unity though. It was definitely a challenge, that's for sure. There, here, trying to get the tile map to kind of work for me. You can actually create a tile map using Unity, and they have these different tile maps with a flat top and point top. Hence the reason why I have these two layers here for the baseboard and resources. And then of course you have to actually get the actual tiles generated, their little sprite maps and the like. So, but the one thing that really kind of threw me off was the cell size, because before, here, let me kind of show you what I was kind of dealing with before. This was like last week's solution. The I had the cell size as 1-on-1 kind of aspect for the grid for the GGG board. As you can kind of see, the the distortion of the cell is kind of a little bit more there. So when I actually started drawing the map, I would have a lot of space in between the cells. And I'm like, going, what the heck is going on? I found out from, where is it? This particular site here mentioned the fact that, hey, instead of using, instead of using 1-on-1, use the 1.86, as, or the square root of 3, 3/2, and that would fix the size of the cells. So I was like going, oh, okay. So, so I just, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna copy this number right here, paste it right back in here, and then I'll rerun it, and there we go. Tiles fixed. So I was kind of dealing with that for weeks now. So I was like, oh boy, that was a challenge. But right at this time, so I want to try to get an actual maze going from the this is a very large map right at the moment, and I want to get a maze going on here. Okay, each one of these little tree, rock, plant, vine kind of aspect is objects that I don't necessarily need to have, so I can clear that out to make the maze. But when I was looking at Prim's algorithm here, it's based off of a single point, and it generates the maze from that single point. Problem is that if I'm trying to use multiple points to start, as you can kind of see, there's a little dark spot here and these spots here. These are all starting locations where I want the maze to kind of expand out from. Prims isn't going to really work for me on that because I'm kind of worried that if I do starting points from each one of these locations, I'm going to basically make their own separate maze, and they won't actually connect with each other based off of the algorithm of Prims. And if it sees, if it goes to a particular wall location and it sees another location connected to it already part of the maze, then it won't actually connect with, or it won't actually remove that as a wall. Okay, I'm trying to have each one of these particular resource blocks as a wall per se. So now I have to figure out some way of kind of connecting the maze with each other, but Prims doesn't really work very well on that. So I was trying to look at the other options here, and I'm thinking Kushkal may be a good method of going about this. But I don't know how to handle this in a hex grid kind of process. And how does it connect? How does it connect to how does it connect to sets and like how I was kind of giving the example earlier here. You know, these spots here are their own unique set. Same as the other one in the other corner here. That's its own unique set. That it's its own unique set. That's its own unique set, right? So if I don't if I want to make sure that I don't have a triple opening kind of thing, I'm trying to be very careful with having. Oh, but wait. There may be cases where I might need to actually have three open at the same time. For example, say like for example, I start from here, right? So I want to open up one of these two. So I open up this one, right? Okay. If I go, so this particular path is blocked, so that leaves me these two paths. So if I go here, then that means that one's going to be blocked, right? Or should I allow for this one to be open? Well, the problem with prims there here is that I'm concerned that even if I start from a single point, I can't. There's no guarantee that these two become walls and essentially block this particular tile off. I don't want that to happen. Because these tiles I'm gonna be having as spawn points. So if these become essentially walls, then they're not going to be able to kind of walk on through. That's the reason why I'm trying to have these points as to allow them to kind of expand into the maze themselves. So so I gotta kind of be careful with this because I want each of these points, the one in the center and the corners to be all kind of a part of a single maze. I don't want them kind of isolated from each other. So how do I get Kushkals to work in a hexagonal grid? Because it looks like based off of this example here, this might actually kind of work. I can use the these 4 points essentially, as its own unique set, or as a starting set. So now I need to figure out how to generate a maze from that, and that's, this the the aspect of a square grid. That's perfectly fine. It works, but how do I actually kind of get it to work with a hexagonal grid? So, and of course, this right here is all well and good, but like I said, each one of these tiles is essentially the wall. I'm not gonna have like walls in between each of these tiles here. So this example right here doesn't really work for me either, unfortunately. So if I was to consider each edge here as a wall, I would have to kind of redesign this a little bit. And well, no, that doesn't even work either, because these are essentially resource tiles. If you're looking at, if you think back at like that, real-time strategy games like Warcraft, 1, 2, and 3, for example. The the forests were essentially walls. That's what I'm trying to kind of do here. The forest that you're cutting down is the walls here in this case. So that's why all the RTX maps kind of thing, or RTS maps. There's always a pathway going through it. I mean, you're not cutting through forest to get to the enemy. Okay, there's always a path. So that's what I'm trying to do with this, and that's why it's been kind of difficult trying to get that to work here. Actually, let me leave that up. So how do I get this to work for me here? I haven't found anything that I can use just yet. Um, I mean, if anyone has any kind of ideas or maybe a link that might be um, that might be great for this kind of process, then let me know. But so far, I haven't really found anything yet. It's okay there, Hero. No worries, man. Uh, I knew that this was going to be a kind of a challenge, and you know, uh, I kind of enjoy those kind of challenges anyway. So while it's still one of those head scratcher kind of moments, I know that I'll still be able to kind of work my way through it. The process of this, however, is going to be kind of unique in that sense that as I'm kind of showing a little bit, trying to do a hexagonal maze isn't as common. So now it's a matter of trying to figure this portion out here. let's see. Let me see if Red Block Games might have a solution here. Let's see what they have. Um, hmm. Oh, thank you for the follow there, Hero. I appreciate it, man. I do this every Sunday, just so you're aware. Um, I've it's not very often that I have a lot of visitors on my coding streams, so I still do a lot of like games during the rest of the week. Um, but I still want to get this game done and developed, so that you know I can I can put that out there for folks. I'm not really expecting a whole lot um of traction per se on it. You know, so I'm probably just going to be like trying to sell it for like maybe 99 cents, download kind of thing. But that's way in the future. that's that's that is so far down the path of this game that I don't even need to worry about it right now. um, don't know if Red Block Games actually has any kind of solutions for this though, because while it does deal with like quite a bit of um, hexagonal kind of manipulation and the like, um, it doesn't look like there's really a whole lot um, of a maze on this. Yeah, it's more of a personal thing for yourself. I get that. Well, I mean, it is and it isn't. I mean, uh, the this project is personal kind of aspect. You know, uh, I haven't really made it um, into the software development industry. I've tried, and I keep on getting rejected because I'm not. I have a very limited capacity up here. you know, um, but I fear if I can get this developed and working the way I want to, then I don't need to worry about other people's. Um, you know, I'll I can actually show companies, hey, no, I built this from scratch. You know, um, I did the work. This is the process that I would with it. The majority of my code is mine. Um, you know, I can show it off, but it's still one of those processes where it's like, oh boy. Um, and if I can get an artist that is willing to kind of back me up on this, then maybe I can kind of design this into something that looks pretty decent. We'll see. But like I said, this is down the road. Um, I need to actually get this to be actually working. Um, uh, I'm sorry to hear about not being able to get into a software development position. I have to become one myself someday, so hopefully we can both get in some work. But yeah, using it as a resume is a great idea. Well, I have to actually make it into something first. um, well, the um, The problem with um, the software development is um, I'm always feeling like I'm always like a step too short from from where I kind of want to go. Like I had an interview just the other day, kind of aspect, and um, I was telling them about my previous work experience, kind of aspect, and you know, how I've always been kind of willing to learn new things to try to get, um, for whatever job kind of aspect, and I don't know exactly what I said that really kind of turned them off, but I got rejected like an hour or two afterwards. You know, didn't even have the chance to do the um, didn't even have the chance to have that um, programming test afterwards and a sit down. It was all during the phone interview, and it's like I keep on having those kind of problems where it's like there's always like something that just trips me up in some fashion or another that most people just don't really like for some reason. You know, uh, so I'll just keep on plugging away at this and see where I can kind of go from there. Now let's see. Um, what's going on here? Oh, okay. I suppose it's streaming. All right. Let's see. Um, here, where are you at right now? You're saying that you want to get into someday. Are you currently like in college right now, or um, or have you just like graduated, or are you kind of working on college? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, one of the things that I tend to suggest to anyone that's in college and you're trying to work on any kind of project, or I've already graduated. I have my degree, and it's always been kind of difficult trying to um, find a job that's entry level that's willing to kind of take me on, um, especially when I feel um, I have that mentality where I'm just smart enough to do the work, but not smart enough to do what's necessary. You see what I'm saying? Uh, I often call myself a you know um, smart and stupid at the same time. uh, you know, I know enough, but I don't know what I need. It feels like. Um, I typically, let folks know that are in college, um, that um, one of the one of the best things that you could probably do for yourself. Well, actually, there's two things that you can do for yourself. Okay. First thing that you want to do is practice. Okay. Do what I'm doing right now, for example. Okay. Practice code. Get yourself a project. Um, and just kind of work on it. Okay. In your off time. Okay. Um, Doing the work for your college classes, that's all well and good. Okay, that gives you the coding practice that will, help you as you kind of progress. But one of the best things that you could probably do is practice in your off time. Okay, practice on the weekends. Start kind of working on some random project. It doesn't necessarily need to be. It doesn't need to be major. I mean, you don't need to be creating the next best game or anything along those lines. Just build a calculator, build an address book, build a build a website. Whatever you want to kind of do. Even if you think that, but someone's already built it. Why should I bother with it? That's not the point. I made the mistake of not. You know, I'm pushing myself here to keep on practicing. Okay, keep on building something because I got tired of having jobs that didn't allow me to do this. Okay, so practice, work on the concepts. Use different concepts, explore, expand. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, second thing that I tend to recommend to any college student: internships. Okay, now you might think, but wait, Jim, you're if I go to an internship, I don't have the time to practice. Well, internships are practice for you. Okay. And the one of the positive things about internships is the fact that you, if you can get yourself into an internship, that gives you, that's resume material. Okay, something that you can actually put on your resume that you actually worked as an intern, for some other company. Okay, another company will like that, or the company that you interned for might want to take you up when you graduate. Okay, you could kind of go back to them and say, "Hey, listen, I worked, I, you know, I was here on an internship, last summer or the summer before, or whenever, and I worked for your company. Do you have an open position, entry level, ready and waiting for me?" Okay, try to do that. Because those will be helpful for you. Okay. So hopefully, if anyone, Hero or anyone else that's watching, try to use those to your benefit. You know. You know. I might not make it myself, but if I can help someone else make it, then hey, you know, I'm paying it forward in some way. So okay, but let's get back into trying to find hexagon maze here. Uh, okay. As much as I like red block games, it's not looking like I'm gonna be able to use much of anything here for designing the maze. Uh, Programming started as a hobby for me, something I did for fun. It's grown into something I want to make a career. Everybody has to kind of start somewhere. For me, I got started late. Um, I might have it. It probably would have been great if I had someone like when I was like kind of going through junior high, high school kind of thing, that I could kind of try to work on it kind of aspect. I had like one one programming class back in high school, and it was a challenge. It was interesting. I wasn't the best in class. I wasn't like a straight A student kind of an aspect, but it it still kind of piqued my interest a little bit. But like I said, I wasn't exactly the smartest on it either. So I was like, "On, could I actually do that?" Well, I was in community college trying to figure out what I wanted to kind of do. I was like, okay, I want some kind of sciences. I could go with mathematics, but there's not a lot of. I didn't really see a lot of job potential for mathematics. I mean, you can use mathematics pretty much any kind of. You could use mathematics quite a bit, but as a standalone career, teachers, accountants were basically the two careers that I was kind of seeing right at the moment. Okay. I could probably maybe have taken it to try to go into like maybe the aerospace industry kind of aspect, but again, I'm a B student. I was a B student. Trying to compete for those kind of positions was going to be tough. So realistically, I was probably seeing, teaching and accounting. And I was like on accounting, I didn't even want to think about teaching. My mom was a teacher. I saw all the problems that she was kind of dealing with. So I was like going, I didn't want to. I didn't want to necessarily follow in her exact footsteps. Not that teaching is a bad career, mind you. Okay. Anyone that wants to go into teaching, do so. Please. Please do so. Okay. Because believe me, there are we need to help American students out with their mathematics. Oy. But that's another subject. The other option that I was seeing was computer science, and I saw a lot of potential growth with that. I saw a lot of career potential with that. And you didn't necessarily need to be a super genius with it. Okay. People were designing web pages, you know, like it's, you know, fairly easily. So I was thinking, okay, this is something else that I can do. So that's the reason why I chose computer science from community college. So that's where I kind of started out, and that's where when I started on my path for the computer science. So far, it hasn't really worked out for me very well, but you know, but at the same time, I know that I've made some mistakes along that path, and now I'm kind of paying for those mistakes. But that doesn't mean that I can't stop moving forward. So, sorry, a little history of myself. Let's see. Um, my roommates are getting a little loud downstairs. Um, Let me see. Um, oh, this is pretty much the exact copy of Wikipedia. Why? Ah, Um,
That's your guys.
Like, how long is this?
okay, so how do I do this?
Oh. She said, I like when you take control, but she still loves taking control.
It's good. It's different. I think it's good. But it's not as if it's like,
Hmm.
well, you deserve that.
Yeah, no.
It's not as if it's good. It's good though.
Teaching is a good thing. Yeah, it's nice to be able to share what you've learned. Though it can be hard and it's not for everyone. I'm enjoying my stream series where I teach JavaScript at least. Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's no, um, teaching is a good career. It's stable for the most part, and if you're strong in mathematics and computer science, there's a lot of job openings for that. I mean, you can take mathematics and, um, well, maybe not so much computer science, but I mean, if you have a background or if you enjoy mathematics as well, then you can pretty much take that to pretty much any kind of um, high school or junior high or whatnot, and help out the students there. Um,
Not like birds.
but yeah. Um, okay, can't go there apparently. Yeah, not found. Let's see. Oh boy. Okay, so I got some music being played in the background, and seeing that I'm gonna be uploading this to YouTube, that might be problematic. So I might have to cut this stream off a little early there, folks. I normally go till 6 o'clock, but with them playing downstairs, I might need to kind of cut this off early. Um, didn't really get very far on this per se, but at least I removed Prim as a potential for the maze generation. So that's good. It's good, but now it's a matter of trying to figure out how to actually get Kushkal's algorithm with a hexagonal grid. How do you actually make that possible? Um, how do if I look over here and here's a set, or each one of these is individually is a set, right? So if I make this a set, how do I guarantee that I don't make this a set? How do I remove this as a potential set? Um, I'm not sure.
Every time you go somewhere, like you're talking to
Oh, really?
you're getting the one.
Hmm. If anyone has any ideas as to how to kind of go about doing that, then I'm all ears.
Oh, you did it!
Yeah, I gotta shut things down here, folks. I know that normally my stream goes till 6, but I gotta shut things down a little early tonight. If they're, you know, I gotta be careful with music copyright and all that kind of stuff. YouTube is has been getting a little bit better with that, but I don't necessarily want to risk that. Um, just to let everybody know, these streams that I make, I always upload to my YouTube channel. Links in down below on my Twitch channel. I don't really edit these videos down. I'm kind of lazy that way, unfortunately. But so all of my unedited streams are all on my YouTube channel. You'll find links to my Discord, my Patreon, and my Twitter accounts, both down below on my Twitch channel as well as in the description of my YouTube channels. So feel free to check those out if you want. I have playlists of multiple different games as well as my Unity programming. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check those out. So let's see, anything else that I could probably add? Tomorrow I'll be going back into my Warframe gaming. Although on Thursday I'll be starting Borderlands 2 blind, so look forward to that. And I will try to work on figuring out Kushkels on this process next week. Hopefully I can make some amount of progress on that, but we'll see what we can do with that. So I have my little notes here as to what to do next, and then we'll kind of go from there. Like I said, if anyone has any ideas as to how I can kind of handle the wall situation for this, please let me know. It would help me out, even if it's like saying, "Hey, Jim, go to this one particular site." It might help you figure out what you might be missing, trying to get the sets connected in such a way, but still leave the resource walls. So yeah. But with that, I gotta shut down there, folks. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for chatting with me, especially you, Hero. Especially with your raid that you came in with. I appreciate that there, dude. Thank you for the follow. It's gonna help me. As I continue my path for affiliate. Just gotta boost those viewer counts up. And yeah, so hopefully I'll see you guys next time. So take care, have a good night, and I'll see you maybe tomorrow. Take care.